When we talk about supply chain management at a professional academic level, we rely on the standards set by ASCM, formerly known as APICS. The goal here is to distinguish true, integrated supply chain management from the execution of basic, isolated operational tasks. To do that, we have to establish exactly why this discipline exists in the first place. This three-point breakdown shows the primary objective: delivering maximum customer value at the lowest total system cost. This requires aligning different departments and entirely separate companies toward a single shared objective. When executed correctly, this alignment creates a distinct competitive advantage. The purpose here is holistic value creation across an entire enterprise. It is an active strategy for generating value, rather than a localized exercise in cutting expenses. The ASCM Dictionary's 17th edition provides the precise academic baseline. This text defines supply chain management as the design, planning, execution, control, and monitoring of supply chain activities. This means 5 things: design, planning, execution, control, and monitoring, all executed to create net value, leverage global logistics, and synchronize supply with demand. To understand this framework, we need to carefully isolate the word management. In APICS terminology, management and administration are distinct concepts. Administration implies keeping a static system running as is. Management means end-to-end orchestration. It requires active decision-making across varied time horizons and constantly shifting variables. True supply chain management requires dynamic trade-off management. It is the active, continuous steering of a complex system. To see how this definition plays out operationally, we can map it to the standard hierarchy of planning. At the strategic level, leadership designs a global network balancing cost, risk, and service. Below sits the tactical tier, coordinating long-term demand forecasts with supply capacity. Finally, the operational level focuses on daily execution, like positioning inventory across multi-echelon networks. This tier also controls real-time metrics, like on-time and full deliveries, and the overall cash-to-cash cycle. Whether designing a multi-continent network or tracking tomorrow's inventory, every single action requires weighing multi-variable trade-offs. The underlying structure governing these activities is mapped out using ASCM's SCORE logic. This linear flowchart tracks the nodes. The sequence begins with plan, managing demand, capacity, and S&LP. Next is source, dictating procurement strategy. Then make covers all manufacturing operations. The final forward node is deliver, managing outbound logistics. Finally, return deals exclusively with reverse logistics. The critical insight here is that supply chain management exists as an entity separate from any one of these individual functional boxes. It is the integrated governance overlay that connects, commands, and synchronizes all 5 nodes simultaneously. To maintain synchronization, the framework identifies 5 core characteristics separating true SCM from localized operations. First, it must be end-to-end. Governance requires full visibility tracing from the raw material supplier all the way down to the final customer. Second, it is cross-functional. The process must actively break down the internal silos separating sales, operations, finance, and procurement. Third, it is cross-enterprise. Proper SCM extends governance beyond internal corporate walls to include external partners. Fourth, it is decision-driven. You must actively manage trade-offs rather than defaulting to isolated optimization. And fifth, it is performance-managed. Decisions rely strictly on standardized key performance indicators rather than anecdotal evidence. If you lack any one of these 5 characteristics, the framework quickly degrades into disconnected, highly inefficient administrative tasks. For this integrated framework to remain operationally viable, it relies on a specific set of governing principles. This quadrant grid outlines those principles. The first is systems thinking. This dictates optimizing the entire network rather than maximizing individual parts. If a single department maximizes its own efficiency, it often creates a bottleneck elsewhere. Flow orientation proves that local optimization usually harms total system cost. The second principle is trade-off management, navigating the constant conflict between cost, service, and risk. The third is the hierarchy of planning, where strategic decisions strictly dictate operational execution. Finally, feedback and control loops, where objective KPIs force continuous course correction. Violating these governing principles triggers immediate systemic bottlenecks and escalates total costs. This list of real-world applications shows how we move from theoretical principles to execution, applying SCM directly to major corporate strategy. This includes designing supply chains specifically for resilience, ensuring the network can absorb and recover from severe systemic shocks. It means running integrated business planning to synchronize massive, complex internal departments under one financial plan. It requires leveraging SCM algorithms to mathematically improve customer service levels without an expensive explosion in held inventory. And it involves structuring the logistical backbone to support major corporate growth initiatives, like mergers and acquisitions and global expansion. Modern SCM operates as a primary driver of executive growth and corporate strategy. This discipline is also forced to evolve rapidly to handle contemporary macroeconomic realities. First, supply chains face severe external challenges, increasing market volatility, unpredictable supply risks, and sudden geopolitical shocks. Compounding those are regulatory pressures, specifically rising demands for sustainable sourcing and ESG compliance. To counter this massive complexity, the industry adopted specific technological trends. Digitalization, advanced planning systems, and AI provide the intense data visibility required for end-to-end orchestration. But these digital tools remain powerless until the foundational SCM structural principles are implemented first. Because of how complex these systems are, a few persistent professional misconceptions have taken root. This summary slide corrects those errors. Professionals often mistake SCM for logistics, the physical movement of goods from point A to point B. Similarly, procurement and ERP software installations represent tactical tools rather than the discipline itself. Logistics and procurement function as specific subcomponents. SCM provides the integrated governance that connects them. SCM is an integrated management discipline. It is driven by systems thinking, designed to orchestrate complex trade-offs. Take a moment to evaluate your own organization. Are your operational decisions being optimized locally